Hi, Nikki here from Purple Patch Fishing. This is my soft plastics rod. This is my hardbody rod. What's the difference? Well, let me explain what I like about each of these rods. Alright, let's talk about hardbody fishing. Now I'm fishing a Twitch 40. This is one of my favourite little lures for fishing these snags. What I'm basically doing is casting my lure right into these snags and just letting it sit and then twitching it back. When I twitch it, that lure darts from side to side. It's really enticing for those brim, and I'm also pausing and giving them a chance to come up and have a look. I've got my polarized sunnies on so I can actually see my lure and I can see those fish. So I'm not using an ultra light lure, it's a couple of grams. So I need the rod that I'm using, I need to be light enough to cast that lure, but also not too big and heavy. So let me talk you through the rod I like to use for this style of hard body fishing. So the rod length is 6'9". Now I've chosen that for a couple of different reasons. The main one being, in this boat, with my height and twitching that lure, the rod tip is not hitting the water. It's at a good length as I twitch. Also with hard body fishing, you need to be accurate, and a shorter rod is more accurate than a longer rod. This rod's a duff rod and it's the G2 crank LT. LT, light. It means it's got a light tip. So when I'm twitching that lure, it's soft enough that when I twitch the end of it, it moves that lure side to side. If it's too heavy, it's just going to drag that lure out of the snags. If it's too stiff, it won't work the lure. So it's got to be just right. So this rod is a 1 to 3 kilo rod. It's got a nice sort of soft tip so that when I'm twitching that lure, it moves. It moves the lure, but it's stiff enough to keep it in the zone. If it was too hard, it would just drag that lure out. So it needs a bit of give. But when I get a hit and load into that fish, it's got enough bend in it that it doesn't pull those treble hooks out. They're really light trebles, so I want some give in that rod, so I'm not going to pull those hooks out of the lip of that fish. I'm fishing a hard body and it just picked it up and ran, but it's soft and you're not going to pull those treble hooks. So check out that lure. That treble is right in his lip. That was what I was talking about with that soft tip, so that you don't pull those hooks out. I'm seeing so many brim in here. I'm going to have to get back to fishing it properly. They're the things that I look for in a hard-bodied rod, and that's why I call it my hard-body rod. I hope this helps you. Oh my God, there's so many! And some big ones too. Let me talk to you now about soft plastics fishing. I'm usually throwing, this is a 1/16 ounce jig head, about 1.5 grams, up to about 3 grams. When I'm casting my lure, I want the lure to be ahead of the boat, along the bank, but also as far away from the boat as possible. I want that distance so that I'm not spooking the fish. The lure needs to sink and hit the bottom. And you let it sit there. And then I'm just lifting the rod tip up and then winding up the slack and letting that lure drop. So when I'm doing that, I want to feel that jig head. So I want something, I want to be able to feel that jig head swimming up and know that when I move my rod, the lure moves with it. When I'm fishing a soft plastic lure, the lure sinks and sits on the bottom. Generally, a brim will pick that lure up off the bottom, and you'll feel that tick or see that tick in the line. When that happens, you need to be able to strike that lure and set the hook. The hook is a lot thicker than a hard body hook, and a lot stronger, so you need to be able to set it in the hard mouth of that brim. Then you can pull him in. So I've explained how I fish a soft plastic lure. So what rod do I use? Well, I use a slightly longer rod, 7'1". I want a longer rod for extra distance. The weight of the rod is a 2 to 4 kilo. It's a little bit heavier, it's a bit stiffer. It still has flex in the tip, but when I set that hook, it's not noodly and soft. So I've got the power and the strength in that rod to set that thick hook in the fish's mouth. So a 2 to 4 kilo rod is light enough to throw those light, cast those light soft plastic lures. But if I load up on a big fish, I've got that strength and enough bend in the rod to help me fight that fish with the lure. It's got some nice give in it, but it's not noodly. Well, there you go, a nice little brim on my soft plastics rod. I felt the tick on that lure and then I lifted and struck and set that hook in its hard mouth. Yay! Well, I hope you have enjoyed and found the information about my two rods really helpful. My soft plastics rod is a Duff rod and it's the Ultra. I absolutely love it for my soft plastics, especially those really light weighted soft plastics. My Hardbody rod is also a Duff rod, and this is the Crank LT. It's reasonably new and I'm absolutely loving it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video and I'll catch you next time on the water.